The video my cousin sent me hit like a punch to the gut. There, in our old Tucson kitchen, sat my parents and my sister Claire, their voices sharp with disdain as they tore me apart. The Arizona sun poured through the windows, a cruel contrast to their cold words. "Allison only helps because she has to," my mother said, her tone laced with scorn. "After all we've done, paying the mortgage is the least she can do," Claire smirked. "Yeah, acting like she's some saint for it. What a joke." My father, the man who'd once cheered at my soccer games, just nodded, his silence louder than their words. "My name's Allison Hayes, and for 4 years, I'd been their financial lifeline, pouring over $250,000 into their home through my LLC, Horizon Ventures, while they thought they were paying a bank." That video shattered my illusions, but it also lit a fire. They saw me as a burden. I was about to show them I was their landlord, and they'd just crossed a line they couldn't uncross. I'm 29, a data analyst who'd carved out a solid career despite my family's doubts. They'd wanted me to join Dad's failing construction business, not waste my time crunching numbers. "Tech's no place for a woman," Mom would say, while praising Claire's entrepreneurial spirit as she floundered through one failed venture after another. When the Tucson housing market tanked 4 years ago, threatening their home, I stepped in. My financial advisor, Rachel, suggested a clever setup: buy the house through an LLC, let them think it's a bank loan, and cover most of the mortgage myself. It protected me legally and saved their pride. They made small monthly payments, oblivious that I was footing the real bill. $6,200 a month to their $600. My cousin, Mark, sent the video late one night, his text blunt: "You need to see this. Allison, they've been trashing you for months." I'm sorry. I watched it in my Denver apartment, the glow of my laptop casting shadows on the walls. The shaky footage, clearly recorded in secret, captured every word. "She owes us," Mom said. "We raised her, put her through school." Claire laughed. "She's got no kids, no life. What's she even spending her money on?" Dad's not hurt most, his quiet agreement slicing deeper than their barbs. I replayed it, each loop hardening my resolve. They didn't know I owned their house, or that a clause in our agreement let me claim it outright if they missed a payment. The next one was due in 2 weeks. For the first time, I wasn't going to cover it. I opened my spreadsheets. The numbers a stark truth. $258,900 paid through Horizon Ventures since 2021, while they'd contributed $28,800. My hands were steady as I reviewed the mortgage agreement Rachel had crafted. The purchase option clause was clear: one missed payment, and I could take full ownership. They'd be tenants, not homeowners. A small, bitter smile crossed my lips. Rachel had insisted on the clause just in case. Now, I wondered if she'd sensed their betrayal coming. Mark sent more evidence the next day: screenshots from a family group chat I'd been excluded from, titled "Money Matters." The messages were a knife to the heart. "Claire, Allison acts so high and mighty with her tech job, but she barely helps. Mom, she's got no family to support. We should ask for more. We sacrificed everything for her. Dad, she'll come around. She always does." I stared at the words, my chest tight. They'd planned to squeeze me for more, all while mocking my life. I forwarded the screenshots to Rachel. "They're about to learn who's been keeping them afloat," I said when she called. "Smart," she replied. "If they missed a payment, you can activate the clause. The house is yours, and they're month-to-month tenants. Arizona law gives you eviction rights if they don't pay rent." I nodded, a plan forming. "I'm not telling them yet. Let them think I'm clueless." A text from Mom arrived that afternoon. "Sweetie, can you come for dinner Sunday? We need to talk about something important." I knew the script: guilt, trips, sob stories, a plea for cash. The thought of facing them, knowing what I knew, made my skin crawl, but I needed to play along. "Sure. Sounds great," I replied, adding a smiley face for good measure. They'd taught me how to wear a mask. Now, I'd use it against them. Sunday dinner was a masterclass in restraint. I pulled into their driveway, the Tucson sunset bathing the house, my house, in warm pinks and oranges. The smell of Mom's enchiladas greeted me, a calculated nod to childhood memories. "Allison, honey," she said, hugging me, her new gold necklace glinting. I wondered if it came from money meant for the mortgage, due in 9 days. Claire lounged at the table, scrolling her phone, her startup's logo on her shirt. "Hey, sis. Nice of you to show up," she said, her tone dripping with sarcasm. Dad emerged from his office, holding bank statements, his face set in that stern look. "He used to make me feel small." "Good to see you, kiddo," he said, but his eyes were calculating. We sat, the enchiladas steaming. "Before we eat," Mom began, her voice syrupy, "we wanted to discuss something." She glanced at Dad, who nodded. "Go on," I said, serving myself, my pulse steady. Claire leaned in. "Dad's business is struggling. Construction's tough right now. We know you're doing well with your computer stuff, data analysis," I corrected, biting back a smile. "They'd never cared to learn." "Right," Dad said, waving it off. "This house is a lot to maintain. We thought, since you're successful, you could chip in more. Maybe $2,500 a month? It's your family home, too." I chewed slowly, their words echoing the group chat. They wanted more when I was already carrying them. "That's a big ask," I said, keeping my tone neutral. Claire scoffed. "Come on, Allison. You're not exactly scraping by. Unlike me, running a real business." Her startup had burned through Dad's savings and my minimal help. "I'll think it over," I said. "Things are tight with work." Dad frowned. "Tight? You're single. No responsibilities. We've given you everything." The hypocrisy burned, but I smiled. "You're right. Family helps family. I'll have an answer soon." After dinner, I excused myself to the bathroom, detouring past Dad's office. The door was ajar, and their voices drifted out. "She's stalling," Claire said, acting all high and mighty. "Like always," Mom sighed. "We found something in her files last time she was here. She's got money stashed in some LC Horizon Ventures. She's hiding it from us." My blood ran cold. I'd used their Wi-Fi during a visit, and my cloud storage had synced. They'd snooped. "If she doesn't help," Dad said, "we can use that college thing she borrowed from my business for tuition. We've got proof." Claire laughed. "Or we could call her company. Hint she's unstable, maybe skimming funds. That'd get her attention." Their casual cruelty stunned me. "The tuition theft was a loan I'd repaid with interest, approved by Dad. I had emails proving it. Their HR threat was a desperate bluff, but it showed how far they'd go." I flushed a toilet for cover, then rejoined them, my face a mask of calm. "Everything okay?" Mom asked, her smile fake. "Perfect," I said. "I'll let you know about the money in a week." Claire raised an eyebrow. "A week?" "Just need to talk to my advisor," I said, echoing their buzzwords. "Good business sense, right?" Mom hugged me at the door. "We knew you'd come through, sweetie. Family first." "Always," I said, thinking of the default notice waiting. Driving home, I called Mark. "They're worse than I thought," I said, planning to blackmail me, even sabotage my job. "They're desperate," he said. "Always have been." "You're doing the right thing." His support grounded me. The next week dragged, their texts relentless. "Mom, we're counting on you, honey." Claire heard texts laying off. "Lucky you've got us. Dad, don't let us down." I forwarded each to Rachel, who was prepping the paperwork. "Once they miss the payment," she said, "Horizon Ventures can claim the house. You'll be the legal owner, and they'll be tenants. If they don't pay rent, you can evict." I nodded. "And it's airtight." "They signed it," she said. "Your dad didn't even read it." Too eager to save face, 2 days before the deadline, Mom called. "Allison, we need your answer. The mortgage is killing us." "It'll all be clear soon," I said, my voice calm. That night, I got an email from their bank. Their payment had bounced, their account overdrawn. I forwarded it to Rachel. "Wait for the official default," I texted. "Let them think they're safe." I also emailed my company's HR, documenting their threats with Mark's screenshots and my tuition emails. If they came for my job, I'd be ready. The deadline passed at AM. Horizon Ventures system sent the default notice. My phone rang. 15 minutes later. "Allison." Mom's voice was shrill. "The bank says we defaulted. You have to help." "It's not a bank," I said, cool as ice. It's Horizon Ventures, my LLC. I've been paying your mortgage for 4 years to 58900 of it. You missed a payment, so I'm exercising the purchase option. The house is mine. You're tenants now. Silence, then Dad's voice, furious. What are you talking about? Check your email, I said. Your first rent's due in 30 days. Pay it, or I'll evict you, Mom gasped. How did you know about? Mark showed me the video. I cut in. I know everything, your chats, your threats, your lies. You called me a burden while I kept you afloat. We're done. You can't do this, Dad shouted. You're my daughter, and you're my tenants, I said. Don't test me. I hung up, blocking their numbers, my inbox filled with messages from relatives, pleading for forgiveness, calling me heartless. I deleted them. Some debts aren't settled with apologies. The next weeks were chaos. They tried everything: guilt, threats, a flimsy legal challenge. Rachel shut it down. The agreement ironclad. Claire called my HR, spinning lies about my instability. My preemptive email killed her story. HR reported her to her startup's investors, tanking her latest venture. Mom left voicemails sobbing, "How could you destroy your family?" I didn't reply. They'd shown me what family meant, and I'd finally listened. 3 months later, I stood in the empty Tucson house, its walls bare, the kitchen silent. They'd moved to a cramped apartment, forced to face reality. Mark and his husband helped me prep it for sale, the proceeds earmarked for a charity aiding financial abuse survivors. Rachel texted. Their lawyer caved. It's over. I walked through the kitchen one last time, where they'd mocked me while I paid their way. The irony was bitter but satisfying. My phone buzzed with a final voicemail from Claire. You win, Allison. Happy now? I deleted it. Winning wasn't the point. I'd chosen myself, breaking free from their greed. The house was just a building, but what I'd reclaimed, my strength, my truth, was everything. Family always comes first, they'd said. They just never said whose. The video played again in my mind as I packed up my Denver apartment, prepping for a new chapter. I'd moved here at 25, chasing a tech job my parents called a pipe dream. They'd wanted me tethered to their failing business, but I'd built my own life, climbing to senior data analyst at a firm that valued my precision. The irony? My skills patterns, numbers, foresight were what undid them. Every mortgage payment I'd covered, every snide comment they'd made, was a data point in a story I'd finally rewritten. Mark's video had been a wake-up call, but the group chat screenshots were the real gut punch. Reading their words felt like eavesdropping on strangers. Allison's selfish, hoarding her money. She should be grateful we gave her a home. Let's push her for more. They'd created a secret chat 6 months ago, plotting while I paid their bills. I saved every message, building a case not just for the house, but for my own freedom. Rachel was my rock through it all. We'd met at a finance seminar, her sharp mind matching my own. When I told her about the mortgage crisis 4 years ago, she'd seen through my family's pride. They'll never thank you, she'd warned. Protect yourself. The LLC was her idea, a shield I hadn't known I'd need. When I called her after the video, she wasn't surprised. They've been using you forever, she said. Time to flip the script. Her confidence fueled mine, her legal savvy turning my anger into action. Sunday dinner was the hardest part. Walking into that house, knowing what I knew, felt like stepping into a lion's den. Mom's enchiladas were a calculated move, evoking memories of simpler times. Claire's smugness, Dad's stern glances, their rehearsed pitch, it was all so predictable. But hearing them in Dad's office, plotting to ruin me, was a revelation. They weren't just ungrateful, they were dangerous. Their threats blackmail, sabotaging my career should they do anything to keep their lifestyle. I left that night not as their daughter, but as their reckoning. The default notice was my checkmate. When Mom called, panicked, I felt no guilt. Their shock, their outrage was the sound of their world crumbling. Your tenants, I told them, and the power in those words was electric. They'd spent years diminishing me, but I'd held the keys all along. Blocking their numbers felt like cutting a chain. The relatives who flooded my inbox, calling me cruel, didn't know the half of it. I owed them nothing. The legal fight was short but brutal. Their lawyer tried to claim I'd misled them, but the signed agreement unread by Dad in his desperation was bulletproof. Claire's HR stunt backfired spectacularly, her lies unraveling under scrutiny. Mom's voicemails grew desperate, then silent. They moved out in defeat, their empire of entitlement reduced to a one-bedroom rental. I didn't gloat. I didn't need to. Selling the house was bittersweet. Mark and I cleaned it together, stripping away the last traces of their presence. "You're free now," he said, clapping my shoulder. The charity, named Horizon Hope, was my way of turning pain into purpose. Every dollar from the sale would help others escape the kind of manipulation I'd endured. Rachel called it poetic justice. I called it closure. Back in Denver, I stood on my balcony, the city lights sprawling below. The video had tilted my world, but it also set me straight. I wasn't the burden they'd painted me as. I was the one who'd carried them. And when they betrayed me, I carried myself instead. Family always comes first, they'd said. I'd just chosen the family that mattered me.